Well, good morning and welcome everyone, especially our friends who are joining us from DC. Thank you for making the drive to be with us today. I have a few announcements before we get started, and then I'll introduce our speaker for today, and we have a great topic I think you're going to enjoy very much. If you haven't gotten something to eat, please help yourself to refreshments. We want you to enjoy breakfast and enjoy your neighbors. And if you're sitting with someone you don't know, please make a point to introduce yourself and say hello to them. We have some special friends, as I said, joining us from the district, and so please give them a warm welcome as well. I just want to make a few announcements on various resources that I think might be helpful for you. April 17th is tax day, as you all know, and I wanted to be sure that you're aware not only that tax day is coming up, but that for older adults and for folks with lower income, there are free tax prep services available. There are two programs. One is called VITA, V-I-T-A, that stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and the other is TCE, which is Tax Counseling for the Elderly. These are services provided by volunteers to help you prepare your taxes and not have to pay a lot of money to do so. What you're seeing on the screen here is a website from the Treasury. You can just search online for VITA Tax Assistance by zip code. I just searched here for zip code 22046, and you can see all of the closest places where this is available, and they can tell you what languages are available and whether or not an appointment is required and what hours they're open and where the location is. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Also, a couple of weeks ago, we had a program from the Consumer Affairs Office of Fairfax County. That was the Silver Shield program, and the speaker talked about scams that are targeting older adults. That was a very popular topic. I have received this flyer since then that I wanted to share with you. This is another scam program that's being offered through AARP of Virginia and Fairfax County Government's Consumer Affairs Office, and it's a free fraud event. There are a number of speakers. This is on Saturday, April 28th. I wanted to be sure to mention it to you because they are having here a shredding truck where you can take any documents that have sensitive information like your anything related to your identity, your social security number, address, birth dates. And if you need to get rid of those documents in a secure manner, you're able to take them to this event and they will shred them for free, no cost to you, and it's secure, and you can get rid of those things. I have a flyer about this on the table up here, and so you can feel free to take one with you. And if we run out, just let me know and I'll be sure that you get one. I also wanted to mention that some of you may have seen that here at Dar Al-Hijrah, we're approaching Ramadan, and there are several jobs available for the season of Ramadan. There are jobs posted for kitchen help and also security, and in the youth department for primarily activities and babysitting. You can visit the website at hijrah.org to see these jobs if you're interested, or if someone in your family that you know is interested. Additionally, I wanted to be sure to tell you about Taste of Islam, which is an event coming up soon here at Dar Al-Hijrah. There are postcards up here with the details of the event. It's an annual open house, and it's Sunday, April 22nd from noon to 5. So please pick up a postcard. All are welcome for that event, and we hope that you'll be able to join us. For those of you who have been coming regularly, thank you for coming. We love having you, and even if this is your first time, you're welcome, and we love that you've come today. I want to make you aware of a special program. As you know, we've been meeting each Thursday from 10:30 until noon with a different topic and a different speaker. On April 12th, in a couple of weeks, the topic is the Medicare basics, questions that you have about signing up for and receiving and navigating the Medicare system. It's a very popular topic. It's a longer program, so we will start early that day. We'll start at 9:30 with refreshments, but the program will start promptly at No, I'm sorry, that's not right. We'll start at 10 with refreshments, and instead of our speakers starting at 11, they will start at 10:30 sharp, because that is a full hour and a half program. There's a lot of information there. So please mark your calendars to join us on that day, and please remember that you need to come a little bit early on that day. Also, because that's a federally funded program, they require registration ahead of time only so that they have head count. So I have some registration sheets that I'm going to be sending around. Zara can help you with this as well. I just need your last name and your zip code on the registration sheet. Even if you are not sure if you can come, or if you sign up and then it turns out that you're not able to make it, that's okay, but we'd rather have you registered so that you don't miss out on this program, which I think will be a very beneficial one for you. So these sheets are going to be coming around, and Zara can help to get you signed up for that. Also, I just wanted to mention as well an open position that I'm hoping you'll be able to help us with if you know someone in your family who might be available. Dar Al-Hijrah is seeking a part-time nurse practitioner, a female nurse practitioner, to work 3 hours from noon to 3 on Saturdays. I can give you more details about this, but if you could please, if you know of anyone who would be willing to do this, please let me or Zara or Tahani know, and we can give you more details. But we are seeking a kind, of course, and friendly female nurse practitioner for 3 hours on Saturday. Remember, as always, that we have voter registration available for you today. We're going to have that available for you at every session. We think that your most important duty as a U.S. citizen is to use your voice through your vote. If you are a resident of Virginia and a U.S. citizen and you are not registered to vote, please see me about registering. I can give you the form to send in on your own, or if you leave it with me, you get a receipt for it. I return it to the Board of Elections within 10 days, and all of that is confidential and goes straight to the Board of Elections. So if you haven't yet registered to vote and you're eligible, please let me know. I just want to remind you that each week we're collecting literature from each of our speakers and building a little bit of a library about the resources that are available to older adults. So please feel free to browse our table and take anything that interests you, or if you know someone who isn't able to make it to the session, feel free to take some literature to them as well. We're going to continue to build that library. Also, remember that Yusuf is recording all of these sessions and then posting them on YouTube, so if there's someone who isn't able to get out of the house but would be interested in a topic, or if you're particularly pleased with a subject and you want to go back and watch that presentation again and pick up some details you may have missed, those are all posted on YouTube on the Hijrah site, and you're able to access them at any time. So with that, are there any questions or comments, anything from anyone? Just a reminder, yes. Yeah, that's a good question. Housing is, I'm not sure we do have a session on affordable housing. I believe it's the first one in September. Just a reminder that we're scheduled through March and April, and then this program will suspend just for Ramadan and summer, and it will pick up again on the first Thursday in September, and we're scheduled through September and October. I'll get that information, but I'm pretty sure affordable housing is the first session back in September. That is a confirmed speaker, and I know that will be a very popular topic as well. Thank you for that question. And just a reminder also that at the end of the session, we will be passing out evaluations. We want your feedback. We want to know if this was helpful for you, what we could do to make it better. It's a new program. We want to continue to learn and improve the program for you. So we have those evaluations available in Arabic and Spanish as well if you need them, and Zara can get those for you. When you fill out your evaluation and get it back to Zara, everyone will receive a $25 voucher for the thrift store here at Dar Al-Hijrah, and so she can give that to you as well, okay? So if you have your mobile phones with you, please turn those off now or silence them. And I just want to introduce our speaker today, who is Kathy Turner, who is the Director of Health Promotion at Virginia Hospital Center. And she's going to speak to you today about wellness and nutrition for older adults. So I'm just going to hand this off to her, and we'll get going on that.
All right. I think I have this on. Thank you guys very much for being here, and I'm happy that I was asked to be here. As you said, I'm the Director of Health Promotion. I'm also the Director of Senior Health at Virginia Hospital Center. So today we're going to talk about the benefits of good nutrition and exercise on the aging process. But at the end of my lecture, I'm also going to talk to you about some of the programs and services that we offer through our health promotion and senior health department, because some of those programs might be of interest to you. So I want to start off with just talking about the benefits of healthy eating. When we take a look at wellness in general and why is prevention so important, it's so that we can live a healthy life. And the reason that is so important is because the majority of the diseases in our country are lifestyle related. Right? Our habits, what we eat, whether or not we exercise, whether we smoke, whether or not we wear our seatbelts, all sorts of different things play a huge impact on our health. So the goal is not necessarily we want everyone to live to be 100, but we want you to be able to live a healthy life so you can enjoy doing the things you want to do. So if we start off taking a look at the benefits of healthy eating, when you eat healthy, you have increased mental acuteness. It helps resist certain illnesses and diseases. It gives you better energy levels. If you're sick, you recuperate faster. And then certainly if you have some chronic health diseases, if you have diabetes, heart disease, when you're eating healthy, it enables you to manage those chronic diseases a little bit better. So if we take a look at what are some of the important things that your body needs, right? So I was glad to see it here on the table. Fruit, right? We want 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Ideally, 3 vegetables, 2 fruits. The reason that fruits and vegetables are so important is this is where all your vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals are coming from. Fruits, you want to focus on whole fruits rather than the juice, because you get the fiber out of the whole fruit. When you have a juice, it's not that it's bad for you, you still get the vitamins, but you don't get the benefit of the fiber, right? So again, you want to aim for 1.5 to 2 servings a day. Veggies. When it says color is your credo in this category, what that means is we tell people eat the rainbow of vegetables, a lot of different colors of vegetables. Some of the biggest research being done right now on cancer prevention is the role of our diet in preventing cancer. I think there's a big, most people know, oh yes, heart disease, I can prevent heart disease. But when it comes to cancer, I think there's a big misconception out there that, well, cancer is one of those diseases that you just end up getting and you have no control. And what we're finding is with a lot of the cancers, whether or not we exercise, what we eat does have an impact. And particularly with vegetables, in a lot of vegetables and fruits, there's things called phytochemicals. And those phytochemicals have actually been found to help reduce your risk for different types of cancers. And the reason we say eat a variety of color of vegetables is there's different phytochemicals in different vegetables. And so if you're eating a variety of color, you're probably getting a variety of the phytochemicals. All right? So you want to choose antioxidant-rich, dark leafy greens, orange, as well as orange and yellow color vegetables, carrots, squash, yams. Again, you want to aim for about 2 to 2.5 cups a day. Right? The other component of your diet is calcium. This is especially important for women because women tend to be more at risk for osteoporosis than men. So aging bone health depends on adequate calcium intake to prevent osteoporosis and bone fractures. Seniors need about 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. So if you don't eat a lot, calcium comes in dairy products, but it also comes in, there's different vegetables and other foods that have calcium as well. If you know you don't get a lot of calcium in your diet, taking a calcium supplement is good. You just want to be careful that you don't take more than 500 milligrams at one time, because our body can only absorb 500 milligrams. So if you have some calcium supplements, you don't want to take 2 calcium supplements at the same time, because your body isn't absorbing the calcium. All right, so that's an important thing. Grains, also very important. You want to choose whole grains over processed white flour for more nutrients and higher fiber. We just had March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and on Friday we had one of the colorectal cancer surgeons give a lecture to the employees at the hospital, and one of the things he really commented on is the importance of a high fiber diet to help prevent colorectal cancer. So remember, when we're talking about high fiber diet, it's the fruits and vegetables, but also the whole grains. So whole wheat bread versus white bread, brown rice versus white rice, that type of thing. And then in terms of protein, seniors need about 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. So when we're talking about protein, your sources are certainly meat products have it, but they can be very high in fat. So good lean sources of protein are things like fish, beans, nuts, eggs, seeds. All right, those are all good sources of protein that don't have a lot of fat in them. All right. Another thing that is really important, we don't think about it, but water, drinking enough water. Most people in general don't drink enough water, but seniors are more prone to dehydration because their bodies lose some of their ability to regulate fluid levels, and their sense of thirst is dulled as they age. So if you think about it, for all of us, right, you never should get to a point where you're really thirsty. Because what is thirst? It's a sign of dehydration, right? So by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So if you're, and what's more important and where this is more critical for seniors is that sense of thirst is dulled, right? So for seniors, they sometimes will not feel that sense of thirst like someone younger will, which is that sign, hey, I'm feeling thirsty, I need to go have something to drink. So for seniors, that becomes even more critical that you're hydrating throughout the day, because dehydration can lead to a lot of health problems. As a matter of fact, you know that this year has been not so good when it comes to the flu, and it's caused a lot of hospitalizations. And some of the most critical elements for folks during flu season wasn't not just the flu itself, but was the dehydration that resulted because of the flu. And that's what led people to be even in worse straits. And I know that firsthand because my 19-year-old daughter had to come home from university because she had the flu, and we didn't realize how bad she was, and then we had to take her to the hospital. And what had happened was she actually had to get admitted, because by the time she came home, by the time we took her to the hospital, she was already so dehydrated that she had to have those IV fluids. So making sure that you're hydrating, that's going to become even more important as we reach those warm months, right, in the summer when it's humid and hot out, that we're hydrating. And remember, the best thing to hydrate ourselves with is water, right? So we don't want to be hydrating with other things, all right? Vitamin B, also important. After age 50, your stomach produces less gastric acid, making it difficult to absorb vitamin B12, making it difficult to absorb different vitamins. So vitamin B12 is needed to help keep the blood and the nerves vital. So the recommended intake is about 2.4 micrograms. So if you look at your the vitamins, and we'll talk in a little bit about taking a multivitamin, right? Vitamin D is another one. We get most of our vitamin D intake through sun exposure and certain foods. A lot of foods have added vitamin D in them, but as we get older, our skin is less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D. What we're also finding, so it's a good and bad thing, right? That we've talked so much in the past 20 years about skin cancer and the importance of wearing sunscreen, and now, especially for women who maybe use makeup or facial moisturizer, most makeup and face moisturizer now has sunscreen in it. So what we find is we're seeing an increase in vitamin D deficiency, especially in women, because of the heightened use of sunscreen, which is good, right? But we need to be careful that we're not also deficient. So again, it's good to take a multivitamin. If you look, people always ask, well, do I need a multivitamin? Should I take vitamins? In an ideal world, if we ate perfectly, we wouldn't need a multivitamin. But most of us don't eat 100% perfect. And especially, again, as we age, as we talked about, as you age, our ability to absorb some of those vitamins decreases. So I do think that it is helpful to take a multivitamin. You don't have to get real expensive ones. You can go to the grocery store or the drugstore and just get the generic brand. They're just as good. But again, it can't hurt if you don't want to take a multivitamin. Again, maybe for some women, you need to take that extra calcium supplement or vitamin D supplement or vitamin B12. Right? This this is the Choose My Plate. So the recommendations now, when it comes to nutrition, we use the Choose My Plate, and I like this because it's very visual, because what this shows is, if you're looking at a plate of food, right, half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, a little bit more than a quarter should be grains, and then the other quarter protein. So that gives you a good idea of the breakdown of where food should come from in your diet. All right? The other thing I like to talk about is what happens, why do we have changing dietary needs as we get older? What happens to us as we age? So the first thing we take a look at is our metabolism. So metabolism is calories that you burn, right? So you guys sitting here right now, you're all burning calories just sitting, right? Because we burn calories for our heart and our brain function, right? When we exercise, when we walk around, we burn more calories. Every year after age 40, our metabolism slows down. This means that even if we eat the same amount, we may gain weight. And typically what also happens is as people age, they tend to become less active. So in the health promotion department, we meet with people we do consultations on weight loss, weight management, and I can't tell you how often we have people come into the office and they say, Kathy, I don't know what happened. Ever since I hit, usually it's age 40, ever since I hit the age of 40, my weight has started to creep up, and I don't know why. I haven't changed my eating habits. I'm eating the same way I've always eaten, but my weight is increasing. Well, a lot of times that is due to their metabolism, because what happens is their metabolism has started to go down, so they're not burning as many calories, but they're eating the same amount of food, results in a gradual incline. So I will tell you, one of the best ways to avoid, there's two things you can do to keep that from happening. Well, actually, I'm just going to mention one because it's the most important, and that is maintaining your activity level, because muscle burns more fat than calories. All right, so if I have two people, let's say I have two people that both weigh 160 pounds, but one person is more muscular than the other, the person who is more muscular burns more calories. Even by just sitting around, they burn more calories. And so what that means is that 160-pound person who is more muscular and burns more calories can eat more than the other 160-pound person and still maintain their weight. So have you ever looked at someone and said, I look at this person and I don't know how they maintain their weight. They eat so much. It's probably because they have a very good metabolism. So in order to keep that metabolism from going down, you want to maintain that muscle mass. And the way you maintain that muscle mass is by continuing to be active. And we'll talk about the physical activity in a little bit more detail, right? The other thing that happens as we get older is we have weakened senses. Our taste and our smell senses diminish with age, so we tend to lose a sensitivity to salt and bitter tastes first. So we may be inclined to use the salt shaker a little bit more, right? Because our sense of taste has gone away, so all of a sudden we're like, oh, this food is tasting kind of boring, so what do? We load up on salt. And we want to be careful with that, because what does too much sodium have an effect on? Right, our blood pressure, right? So we got to be careful of that. We also want to take a look at medicine and illnesses. Medicine and illnesses can negatively influence our appetite. They also may affect our taste. So you might want to consult a doctor about overcoming side effects of medications or specific health conditions. And one of the things I'll recommend, if you don't have it already for a future topic down the line, is really on medication management. Because so many, if we look at how many medications the average senior takes, it's really quite high. And it's really important. What we find is a lot of people are not, either they're not taking their medications properly, or they're taking two different medications at the same time when they should. They have medications that are causing side effects that they don't necessarily know about. So I know one thing that we have at Virginia Hospital Center that is a free program through our pharmacy is you can come to our pharmacist. You can set an appointment with the pharmacist. You can put in a bag all the medications you take, prescription, over the counter, and you can meet for free with the pharmacist, and they can say, all right, these you should be taking in the morning. These you should be taking on an empty stomach. These two you should never take together. Because the problem is a lot of people are getting prescribed medications from a lot of different doctors, and sometimes they don't realize the other medications you're on. So again, if you want more information on that, I can talk to you afterwards. Right? The other thing that gets affected as we age is our digestion. Our digestion system tends to slow down. As you age, you actually generate less saliva and stomach acid, making it more difficult for your body to process certain vitamins and minerals. So you want to up your fiber intake and talk to your doctor about supplements, right? Because sometimes we're not able to just absorb some of the vitamins as well that are in foods, right? So component number 2, and I will tell you, if there was a magic pill for health, this would be it, right? Exercise is the magic pill for health because it helps boost your energy and mood. It helps maintain your independence, your quality of life. It helps manage symptoms of illness and pain. It helps you to reduce and control weight. It improves your bone health. It improves your functioning of your heart and lungs. It increases your strength and your flexibility. Exercise is associated with decreasing the risk of most diseases. Think about it. Heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer. They're even now showing the association with people who exercise and reducing their risk for Alzheimer's disease. So yeah, dementia. So it's critical. And in the senior health department, one of the main things we do is the Lifeline Medical Alert. So for people who need help. And the reason a lot of people get Lifeline as they get older and maybe they have some physical disabilities or they live by themselves and they're worried about if something happens, because most people as they age, they want to stay living in their home, right? That's very important to them. And I'm going to, and I apologize, I'm going to move around a bit. I know he's filming, but I'm going to give you a little example. So what happens when people lose their independence? One of the first things why they can no longer live in their home is they lose the ability to do what we call activities of daily living. And here's one of the most important activities of daily living that we all take for granted. And I'm going to show it to you right now. And it's the ability to do this. Get up out of a chair by yourself, right? Because once you lose the ability to get up out of a chair by yourself, it becomes very difficult for you to live by yourself, all right? So me doing this, right, what does this involve? It involves lower body strength. So once you lose that strength that enables you to get up out of a chair, all of a sudden your independence is extremely limited. So one of the best things, I'm going to give you a homework assignment, and you kids, this is the best kind of homework assignment because it's a homework assignment that the teacher gives you, but she doesn't ever check. So it's a good homework assignment. But one of the homework assignments I want to give all of you is start doing really simple. So when you all go home today, you know, if you just start, I always tell people do it in front of a chair, right? Because it gives you good form, is every once in a while when you go to sit, say, all right, every time I go to sit down for whatever reason, I'm going to practice doing my squats. And this is what you're going to do, right? And this is what we do in our senior exercise classes. Actually, I do it in all the exercise classes I teach, but our senior exercise classes, we actually do it with a chair behind us. And what you're going to do is you're just going to do this. You pretend to sit down, but you don't quite sit, and you come back up. You pretend to sit down, you hover over that chair, and you come up. And this is what you're doing, right? And what am I doing when I do this? I'm working on my quad muscles, my glute muscles, my hamstring, everything. And what am I doing? I'm making sure that as I get old, I have the ability to get up out of my chair, right, without needing help. So again, and this is something that right now, if this is easy for you to get up out of a chair, we don't think about it, right? We don't think about all the people that don't have that ability. So exercise, so crucial. For women, strength exercise is very critical because we start out with much less muscle mass to begin with than men. So as women age, they don't start out with a lot of muscle to begin with. So as we age, we lose it faster because we don't have a lot. So strength, any type of exercise that's going to use your muscle, but not just walking is great, but you got to add some of that strength stuff too. I think you had a question? Yeah. It's very true. It's so critical. And there's a lot of things that you can do. Walking, right? In terms of exercise, one of the best things that you can do. I think there's when people don't exercise, what do you think is the number one reason people give for not, number one or two, exercise, that people, the excuse they give for why they don't exercise? What do most people say why they don't do it? I don't have time, thank you, ding, 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 that's exactly it, I don't have time. Because when we think of exercise, right, we have this misconception again that, well, we need to be doing it for 30 minutes or 40 minutes and we need to get our heart rate up. And so what happens is we tell ourselves, well, I don't have time to do 40 minutes of exercise, or I don't even like exercise, so why would I want to do it for 40 minutes, right? Right, exactly. So one of the things that we know is the recommendation is that you should be getting 30 minutes of exercise a day. But it doesn't have to be all done at the same time. So if you only have 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. And then later on in the day, do 10 more minutes. And it's a lot, and that's good for two reasons. Number one, if you don't have time, some people just don't have the physical ability to exercise for 30 minutes at a time, right? So do it in 10-minute chunks. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes midday, 10 minutes. All of that activity added up will make a difference. And the more you do it, then what you're going to find is, hey, you know what? I've done this now. Now, for those, especially for those who don't have the ability to do it longer, say, hey, my strength is better, my stamina is better. I can actually do 15 minutes, and you'll find that you'll see a difference. Yes, exactly. I tell people a little is better than nothing, and more is better, right? So a little exercise is better than no exercise, and more is better. But start out with just a little, and in general, just becoming more active in everything you do. Think about times where you can add activity into your day, because it is so. Again, if there was a magic pill for health, exercise is definitely it. All right. Certainly, if you are have not done any exercise and you're just getting started, it may be necessary to get some medical clearance. You need to consider your health concerns. So certainly for people who are diabetics and need to monitor their glucose levels, there's things you want to pay attention. Start slow. I think one of the biggest mistakes people do is they think, okay, Kathy told me I have to exercise, so starting tomorrow, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, walk for an hour, or I'm going to start doing this. And people go from this to here, right? And either they get hurt, injured, or it becomes too overwhelming, and so then they go back down to here. So start slow, All right? Recognize what some of your barriers are. What are some of the reasons why I don't exercise, and see what do I need to do to overcome those barriers. Thinking about, when we think of exercise, you know, it's anything that moves. So that could be dancing, it could be raking your yard, it could be walking the dog. It's anything that's going to get you moving, right? There's different types of exercise. So there's your cardio endurance exercise. Those are the things that get your heart rate going, right? So walking, swimming, cycling, dancing, those are the things that help so that when you climb a flight of stairs, you're not out of breath when you get to the top of the steps, right? Then there's strength training. That's the thing we talked about that builds your muscles, prevents loss of bone mass, improves balance. We might come back in the fall and do a lecture on preventing falls. I will tell you, one of the biggest risks for people 65 and older is a fall. And a lot of times, we don't think about this, but exercise and building strength can help prevent falls. Because if you have that strength, that lower body strength, you're less likely to fall, or you have the ability, if you do fall, to get back up. Right? The other thing that also helps prevent falls and a lot of is balance, right? And in a lot of exercise programs, especially senior exercise programs, they work on balance. And as we get older, our balance tends to decline. And when our balance declines, we're more likely to fall. And one of the best exercises for balance training is Tai Chi classes. But even in the senior exercise classes that we do at the hospital, we always do balance training. So an example of a balance training, I'm going to show you. I do not recommend doing it in heels, but I'm going to show you anyway. But that can be something as simple as, right? I always tell people when you're doing balance exercises, have a chair next to you for support, right? But it can be something as simple as I'm lifting 1 foot. And then I can have a little bit here. Maybe I'm going here, right? And people always say, but when I do balance exercises, I start wobbling around. I said, yeah, that's what we want you to do. Because what am I doing? If I start wobbling, right, and I'm doing balance exercises that make me kind of wobble, I'm training my muscles to learn how to keep me upright if I tend to go like this, right? I'm strengthening those muscles, but I'm also strengthening the muscle up here to say, hey, when she starts to do this, she needs to go up, right? Because the more you train, right, the better you are. Think about if you're walking and you kind of trip over maybe there's a little, the sidewalks where the sidewalks aren't even and you trip. Someone who has good balance, if they start to trip, can kind of keep themselves upright and not fall. Someone who does not have good balance is much more likely, if they trip a little, to end up on the ground. And I will tell you, for seniors, what happens to a lot of seniors who fall? They break a hip or something else, but if you break a hip, it can be pretty significant. And so, again, the goal is to avoid that fall. So balance is an important part of your exercise program. That can be things like Tai Chi, yoga, or just on your own, right, with a chair. Kind of practice 1 foot, then the other. Flexibility challenges the joint's ability to move freely through a full range of motion. So again, that's my ability of flexibility is if I go to reach something up over a cabinet, if I don't have good flexibility, I can't, right? Or your ability to reach over. So flexibility, exercises that help in flexibility is something like yoga. So again, there's a lot of things that you can be doing. The key is to start slow, right, and build up. But again, exercise, most important thing. So what I want to do, I'm just going to go pick up here. I want to talk a little bit about some of the programs and services that we offer through the Senior Health Department at Virginia Hospital Center. We do, so if we look at exercise, on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at Pentagon City Mall, we do a free mall walking program. So from 8:30 to, well, it's usually 8:30 to 9:30, there's someone from the hospital. We meet outside of Nordstrom's at the cafe. So people will walk around the mall. At 9:15, we do a little cool down stretching session at the end. Some people come at 8:30 and walk for 45 minutes. Some people only come at 8:45, 9. People come at all different times depending on how long they want to walk. They just come knowing that at 9:15 they're there for the stretches. We usually have, occasionally we'll have someone there to do blood pressure screen tests as well, so you can have your blood pressure checked. So again, it's nice because when you're doing something like that in the mall, you're not having to worry about three things, or two things. Firstly, it's safe, right, because you're in the mall. Number two, you're not having to worry about weather, right? So we've got a brief moment of time in the DC metro area when it's nice to walk outside, but then it's either too cold or it's rainy or then it gets too hot. So that's there. We also have senior exercise classes that we do. There is a fee for those, but if anyone's interested, we have adaptive yoga, gentle yoga, Tai Chi, we have senior stretch and strength, we have seated exercises, so there's a variety of exercise classes. We also do a class called Matter of Balance, which is a 8-week class on helping people with who have a fear of falling. We have free Healthy Aging lecture series once a month on Fridays from 11 to 12. Variety of topics. Some of the ones coming up, we've done the senior scam, so a lot of the topics that you have here, but sometimes we have some of our physicians come in and talk. We had someone from our sleep lab come in and talk about sleep issues, and as we age, sleep issues that we have. So again, I have information on that. We have coming up a free brain health workshop on Wednesday, April 25th. That's specifically for people 49 to 79, but we have actually a hospital from Toronto, Canada, who is one of the leading brain health researchers in North America, are coming to do a brain health workshop, and you actually do an assessment, and they kind of let you know how you are and how can you improve your brain health. So again, that's free if anyone's interested. I've got information on that. We also have a dementia caregiver support group, and we are also the local provider for as I said, for the Philips Lifeline Medical Alert. So if you or anyone you know lives at home and you know they have either a disability or they have multiple health issues and there is a concern, I always ask people, for about a family member or yourself, if you fell and you couldn't get up, how would you get help? Because a lot of times it's not the fall that causes the problem. It's the lying on the ground for hours before you get help that causes a problem. Or for folks that, whether it's a fall or a heart attack or risk for stroke or anything, Lifeline is the button that you wear, that you push, so that if something happens, you're getting quick access to help. So this blue flyer has all the different programs that we offer. That bright kind of greenish flyer is specific information on the Lifeline program. And then I also brought this. This is the hospital kind of magazine. It comes out 3 times a year. But on the back is more detail of all the classes that we offer. We also have something where we do one-on-one assessments. So for those people who maybe don't want to go to the doctor, or their insurance doesn't cover them going multiple times to have their cholesterol checked, we do finger stick cholesterol and A1C screenings, and you can have it done and you get your results in 5 minutes, and then we have someone can review the results with you, and we do that for cholesterol, A1C for diabetes, bone density, all of that. So that's all listed on the back of this. All right. Any questions whatsoever? Sure, yeah. I mean, very, very important. I know when we do our fall prevention, we even talk to people about, how to get up from a fall, properly, how to get up out of bed. If you're getting up out of bed in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, that's a big risk for fall, things that we don't think about. Any other questions? Yeah, I will tell you, I'll give you my little last anecdote. And I've worked at Virginia Hospital Center. I probably shouldn't say this because it's going to make me feel old, but I'll tell you anyways. I've worked at Virginia Hospital Center for 28 years. And probably about 25 years ago, I was filling in. I started to teach a senior exercise class at a church in McLean. We still offer the class there. It's a 10-week class. It meets Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And we were 2 weeks into the class, and someone started late. So she started 2 weeks after the class had started. And she came up to me at the end of the class, and she said, "Kathy, I want to apologize for starting class late, but I just got back from Paris from visiting a friend of mine, so that's why I haven't been here." And I said, "Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you're here." And she left. Someone else came up to me and said, "Do you know how old she is?" And I said, "No." And she said, "That woman is 93 years old." And I said, "That is my goal. I want to be 93 years old, but I don't want to just be 93 years old. I want to be 93 years old starting my exercise class late because I just got back from Paris." And that, my friends, is what exercise and nutrition, good nutrition, does for you. That's the goal. So thank you. If anyone has any questions at the end, please feel free to come.